It's me here, Jason from Experiences and Channeling, and I just wanted to come on. I just got a new mic, and for it's good for recording music, and it's my first new mic in what 6 years, so it's pretty neat. But yeah, what I wanted to come on today to talk about was the intense pressure, the intense energy that we're all kind of experiencing right now, and psychic attacks, and a book that I just read that was very, very interesting about Tibet and about terminology. So yeah, so those are the things I want to talk about today. So nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. So I guess I'll just jump into first. I guess just go into the energy now. The energy recently for me has been very, very intense. I'm usually someone that, uh, up until the past few years, I've always been kind of a person that can, even when things are very, very intense, I can find a way to just do some breathing exercises and relax, and I'll be able to kind of, be okay. But recently it's like, it doesn't work. It's like, whatever I try, it's just the energy is just way too intense. It's just impossible to relax. Um, and so it's just very intense. It's like, it's very edgy. Like I feel like I'm on the edge, it's like, and I think a lot of people, I've been noticing a lot of people are feeling that too. Like it's just, you're just on the edge. You don't have any composure. You don't, usually you have like those are like a few different like levels of like, "Oh, all right, I understand this person, this thing." It's just like you're just on the edge. You're about to just scream, and it's really intense. And the thing that's different about it for me is that usually it lasts for a short period of time, but recently it's just continual. And this will go into terminology as well. But right now, for example, in Japan, where I live, the atmospheric pressure has been kind of going up and down. It's been going crazy. And so, according to, for example, my acupuncturist, there's this amazing acupuncturist that lives like 2 minutes away from my house, and she's just like, she has what in Japan they call God hands, which means that she can just heal stuff. Like she doesn't have to do really much. She's just touching your back, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, thank you. I don't know what you did, but it worked. But anyway, she will always say that a lot of people will come when there is big shifts in atmospheric pressure. She'll get a lot of people coming with problems with migraines and headaches and stress. And so yeah, so from a Eastern medicine standpoint, it's the shifting in the frequency, sorry, in the pressure. And but then from different standpoints, I mean, for example, like if you're looking at it from a psychic attack standpoint, or if you're looking at it from a growth standpoint, it's all about your perspective, like where you're looking at something. But in the end, it's all the same thing, right? It's just frequency, it's just energy. And but we just put all these names on it, and we try to make it different. No, it's different. It's not this, it's this. But so that's what I wanted to talk about. But first, about the pressure, it's been very, very intense. And yeah, I think a lot of stuff is coming up, but at the moment it's just this intense pressure that I think the feeling that I get from it is that it's like when you're not in the place that you're supposed to be, that those are the people that are really feeling it. And I'm not really in the place I'm supposed to be at the moment, with many different parts of my life. So not that I'm supposed to be, but I'm not. Um, there's certain things in my life that are not in alignment, like life choices, for example, or occupations and things like that that are not. And so the things that don't jive and that don't resonate with my path are feeling very, very hard to do. So, for example, day jobs and things like that, stuff that you do in order to kind of make money or in order to survive, they're feeling just unbearable. Like it's just like, you feel the hopelessness of it. Those kind of things. It's just like the world is kind of pushing me and a lot of people. I think probably everyone listening, to you got to find your space. You can't hide anymore. You can't like say, "Oh, I'll do that next time. I'll do." It's like now. It's going to be more and more and more and more unbearable till you just be like, "All right, so I'll follow my dreams. I'll follow my heart." And so that's what this pressure feels like to me. It's the universe pressuring us, moving us onto our path, and making it unbearable to not be on our path. All right, so that was the one thing I wanted to talk about. And then the other thing is this book that I just read. By the way, in the background, you can see my site. That's if you're interested, I offer a whole bunch of different things, so you can check it all out up there. And yeah, so I also offer, I guess, this one thing I'll just say about like these sessions. A lot of people are kind of like a little bit uncomfortable about having like a private session, and but what I also do is like if you have a question that you'd like to ask, you could just send me the question and I'll just send you a channeling of the answer. It's just a one question session that's under the spiritual guidance. If you're interested, if you're not, that's fine too. So anyway, that's there. So the book that I'm reading, or that I just read, I kind of binge read this book in 2 days. It's called Darkness Over Tibet. And Darkness Over Tibet. So on X, there was this guy that I followed, and he just kind of introduces old books from the Internet Archive. And this one looked really interesting, so I was checking it out. And so Darkness Over Tibet. And so let's see, let's go into just the opening. This book was written in 1930s. Okay, it's by T. Ilion. So it's copyright 1937. And yeah, so here's the story. So there's a German traveler, Theodor Ilion, and he was one of the first travelers to penetrate Tibet while it was still sealed off from the outside. He spoke fluent Tibetan, had to disguise himself as a wandering Tibetan monk in order to escape detection, as it was illegal for any foreigner to be in Tibet. And Darkness Over Tibet is an extremely rare book. He made some chance acquaintances which led to contacts with wise men, and black magicians. He was then invited to live and study in an underground city in central Tibet. His subsequent escape and hair-raising journeys are the classic travel writing of the 1930s. So anyway, yeah. It's believed that Ilion's accounts of Tibet were instrumental in persuading the Nazi government of Germany to send yearly exhibitions into Tibet, which we all probably learned about from watching Indiana Jones and was it the Temple of Doom? I think I'm not sure which one it was, or the Ark. Yeah. So this book was really, really interesting for me. Here's a picture of here he is. So let me just get back to the cover, I guess. So this book, I just finished reading it, and so as it was said, he was traveling around Tibet. He was dressed in like just traditional kind of garb, and pretending if anyone spoke to him, he would just pretend that he couldn't hear, he couldn't speak, and everyone just thought, oh, just leave him alone. But anyway, so he met all of these different people, and he was just traveling around trying to, study about spiritual things. And he met this one woman, and she said, my teacher, my guru is very high up, and he's a member of this secret society. You should meet him. And he said, oh, that's great. I'll go meet him. And so he travels throughout the desert, has all kinds of experiences. And he meets the guy, and the guy says, hey, you should come to our, we've got this secret city that we all go to, and we have this high up leader there, and he's very, very wise and very powerful, and you should come. And so he goes, but when he gets there, he notices that the people there, their eyes are kind of soulless and dead. There's something dead about them. And that the workers, the people that are serving the food, they're like zombies. There's nothing in their eyes. And so I won't spoil everything about the book, but he realizes, though, that this place, although they were talking about saving the world, it was actually the opposite. It was a trap, and it was a very dark trap. So you have to read the book to find out how dark it was, but it was dark, but it's very similar to a lot of stuff that's coming out these days, in disclosure. Not alien stuff, but the other stuff, the little island related stuff and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, but what was interesting was that when he first was in that city, that night he had these nightmares and just extreme psychic attacks that night, and that was his first clue that something was a little bit off. And then he saw some other things, and then so he left the place and he escaped. And So the one thing I wanted to say about the escape is that the guy who introduced him to the place didn't see the darkness of the place. He didn't get it. He didn't see what this guy saw. Um, so physically, he saw some stuff there that was just really disturbing. But the guy who introduced him to the place was a very, very nice and friendly guy. And when he was leaving, sorry, I'm screwing this up a bit, but when he was on the city, they were asking him to become a member of the group, and live there for the rest of his life. And after he saw all this stuff, he was like, I'm getting out of here. But he realized that it wasn't a safe place. It's going to be hard to escape. But he told his friend, he said, all right, I can't join this group. And the friend was like, oh, I'm really sorry that you can't join it because we're going to save the world, And what he said though is, he realized that he couldn't tell his friend. His friend still very much believed in this group and very much believed that they were saving the world. And so he couldn't tell him. And throughout the book, this was kind of I don't know if I can say trope, but it was a common thing throughout the book that other spiritual leaders he met said that you can't tell anyone. You have to go through the experiences yourself, otherwise you won't learn it. And he said that was one of the loneliest parts of the spiritual journey, and I really related to that. And because I've gone through a lot of stuff that was very surprising for me before I started kind of channeling and being public about channeling. I just was very, it just seemed like a wonderful thing. It was very open and everything's wonderful and everyone's great. But I found out a lot of stuff that was very shocking to me, but it's a lot of stuff that I can't really talk about. But it's stuff that, just you go through the experience and you learn. And I'm happy about those experiences. I saw a lot of stuff that was very, it kind of surprised me, that the world wasn't what I thought it was. But at the same time, that's the spiritual process. The wool is pulled from your eyes and you see more and you learn more. And it's not, and you can still be an innocent, person. Like, I mean, how do they, not innocent, but you can still like have hope and things like that. But you just see a lot more, and your illusions, you have less illusions about for example, what this is all about. And so, yeah, and I really related to this guy in the story, that's very similar to my experiences. And so, well, I never joined any groups and things like that, but I just, in my travels around, I've seen a lot of stuff that on the surface, it seems like something really wonderful. But when I look at it with my third eye, or when I get psychically attacked like crazy afterwards, I realize, oh, this isn't what it's claiming to be. And that's what the world, I mean, we learn that, right? We figure that out about people, like in our lives. Some people seem to be really one thing, but they're not, and that's just the learning process, right? That's what we all go through. And it's no difference with channeling or with the spiritual, path. And so that's what I wanted to share about that. I thought that was very interesting to me, that is kind of like a lonely part of it. There's a lot of stuff that you can't really share because it's just, everyone has to figure everything out themselves, like, as far as that's concerned, and so that was what I wanted to talk about, that. And I went to this event. So the one part in the dream, the one part in the book that really reminded me of something I experienced was I went to this event. So in another city in Japan. I don't want to give this city a bad name. So I went to this other city outside of the city, and there was this big event that I was taking part of. It was a musical event, and so I stayed the night there. I just I found a cheap hotel or whatever, and I just stayed there overnight, so I didn't have to rush back to my town. And so, but that night was one of the most intense psychic attacks I've ever had. Like it lasted all night, and it was extremely, extremely intense. And that next day I wandered around the town because I thought, well, there's something, why did I get attacked so much? And I looked around the town, I noticed there's a lot of symbology in the town that would guide you to that. There's a lot of glass pyramids. There's a lot of those groups, the brotherhood groups that everyone knows about, who paid for like these like statues or these weird sculptures, and the whole city had this weird vibe to it. And I guess I stumbled into the wrong place, and they were, there was just like, you don't belong here, get out of here. And I hadn't been attacked like this. Happened like a few months ago. I haven't been attacked like that in like 6 or 7 years. Last time I was attacked like that was um, a friend gave me like someone in their family passed away, and they had all these stuff in the house, and they had this statue, this Buddha statue, and then they had this like crystal ball, and they're like, oh, Jason's into like spiritual stuff, I'm just going to give it to them. And so at the time I was like, oh, a crystal ball, that's cool. And I put it by my bed, and that night I got attacked by the being that was in the crystal ball. Sometimes, or not, I think all of the time, people who are in these kind of secret groups, they take an oath when they get in the group, and there's a protective spirit that protects them, but also like it defends their secrets. So if they give away any of their secrets, then the being will come out and attack them, or but I didn't realize. I thought it was just a crystal ball. I was like, oh, cool. I wonder like what's gonna happen if I put it by my bed when I dream. And it's just like this warrior spirit thing came out, and we were fighting like all night. And so that was like what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. That was the last time I had an attack that strong was then. Anyway, so yeah, the world is a little bit strange. But so that leads me to the third topic I want to talk about is terminology. So recently, I've been watching a lot of Sabrina Wallace videos, because it's very interesting. She's talking about the body area network, and how our bodies are tethered to the grid. It's the internet of bodies, and this topic is really interesting to me. And so she talks a lot about the biofield, and how that the aura, we used to call it the aura, but now it's called the biofield, and they've found a way to hack your biofield, hack into your aura, and it's very matrix like, and that a lot of this like 6G kind of stuff is powered by our bodies. Our bodies are electric, and so it's really, really interesting. And she provides like white papers and research to show information where it comes from. And while it's not completely proven, there's enough smoke to show that there is a fire somewhere. And I'm very interested like where this is going. But this idea of, so for example, aura becomes the biofield, and frequency attacks could be psychic attacks, and we turn them as something different. So like in a sense, a psychic attack is the exact same thing as a frequency attack, because when you're getting attacked, they're using a certain frequency to enter your field, your biofield, and attack you. And so it's just like what was considered magic before is science now. Just as like the light bulb was probably considered magic at one point, or fire was considered. So it's just the same. It's all the same thing, and the terminology is just different. And so I don't know exactly what to think about it all. All I know is that God has a plan for all of us, and that, so similarly to psychic attacks, like it's so important to protect your biofield, protect your aura, protect your energy. And so that's why like every day I do a lot of chanting with my crystal ball, just kind of clearing all my energy, and do a lot of awareness techniques with your body, being aware of your energy and being aware of your emotions, right? So like that, when you've like this pressure that we're all feeling at this moment, like this isn't mine. Like my life has been like this for a while, for the past few years. So it's not like it's different, but all of a sudden this pressure is different. Where's this pressure coming from? It's not mine. But it's coming from the mass consciousness. It's coming from somewhere outside of me. And as we're like radios too, we're frequency. So we're picking up on that frequency. But even though it's not mine, understanding that we're all one, we're all connected to this grid, this mass consciousness, not just so this is like the lowercase grid, and then there's the higher grid, the capital level grid, which is the mass consciousness that we're all connected to. And so I think so it's interesting, like all of the terminology, and Um, so like the concept of demons and aliens, and this concept as well. Like, so from the Christian standpoint, people talk about demons, and but it's just a word, right? A demon, an alien, or or whatever it is. It's the same sort of thing. I don't know. So I guess what I'm kind of getting to is just, I think it's important that we get all of our terminology together, because these words are kind of putting people into categories. Like, this person is talking about demons, this person's talking about aliens, this person's talking about frequency, this person's just from a pure scientific way of looking at things. And I think I've just my personal feeling that I think it's really important to kind of draw it all together somehow, because it is all the same thing to me. I feel, the frequency attack, for example, is the same as a psychic. I mean, it's just the same thing. You're being tacked with your frequencies. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I kind of feel like it's important that we all kind of get our terminology all together. Or at least for myself, I feel like it's important to make it comprehensive, that it's all the same thing. But when people use, like, a lot of these words become trigger words, and people get offended or upset, and about certain things. But I think going beyond the words a bit and trying to see what's beyond the words, that there is this frequency is happening, but we are not like bodies, and we're not just frequency. We have souls, and we are very, very powerful. And so understanding that as well, with all of the stuff that's coming out. And then there's the other take of understanding that that there is a God, right? And that also kind of is another perspective that comes in. And so for me, I've been struggling with this, just trying to figure out how to approach it, without fear, but with so yeah. So, and I guess I'm still kind of trying to figure it all out. And what my guides always say is, why are you so worried about all this stuff? Stop worrying, stop worrying, stop worrying. And so, but I'm just trying to figure out like a comprehensive way of looking at it all, drawing it all together, because it's all in my mind. I think it's just frequency. Everything's frequency. We're all frequency. Music is frequency. We're made of frequency. Everything's made of frequency. Everything's vibrating. And we're electric. And so, and I think it's all the same thing. And frequency, when we channel, for example, channeling, um, when you channel, recently when I channel, like, I used to just bring in all of these different beings, but uh, I find that recently, like, just this connection with source energy is the most powerful kind of connection. So when I sit in meditation, I'll connect with source energy, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful feeling of connection. And it sounds silly to talk about it, because it's just like, hey man, it's peace, it's love, but it is. It's just peace, and it's just love, and it's just that is enough. That is what we're all looking for. We're looking for that peace and that love and everything that we do. But then when you can get into this meditation, you feel it, if only just for short periods of time. And then the sun comes out, even if it's raining, like, the sun always comes out. And you just get this beautiful feeling, this connection with source. And at times when in that, I think, oh, maybe I should call in some guides and see what they have to say. But what happens is, it's just, no, I don't need that. I want this. The guys, what are they going to say? Because I've got it. I've got the peace. I've got the love. And I think there's something to that. I think there's something there. And I've been rambling. This is a ramble, as I titled it as a ramble. But I hope it was helpful. Maybe it helped some way. Um, if anyone else was kind of struggling with all of these different things. But I think it's important that we all come together, in and understanding who we are and what we really are. Like the Course in Miracles. I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. So taking the really higher kind of viewpoint of everything, and understanding that there is a plan. God does have a plan, and I believe that very, very strongly. And many might laugh at that and think, "Oh, that's a silly thing to say," but I believe it. I believe it, that God has a plan, and that our lives are not just these chaotic things that happen, that there is a divine plan that we are all going through, and we're learning and we're understanding. And so taking all of this stuff from that perspective, I think for me personally is important. I can't say it for anyone else, but for me personally, I think that's a really important way of looking at all of this stuff. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. But I recommend this book if you're interested, and if you experience these sorts of things. I really resonated with it, and he's a good writer. It's actually very, very easy to read. So it's a page turner. So, and for me, this book was written in 1937. I think, well, wow, nothing's really changed. It's the same exact story, you know. So yeah, and I really related with the main character. I mean, it's just like it's the same story. We're doing the same thing, just 70, was it, almost 100 years later. So yeah. Anyway, so I hope you guys are hopeful. Thanks for joining in, and ciao for now.